Hello? Hello?
Rah! Oh, I thought that would get you.
You trying to set the mood?
Well, if my stories won't scare you, then cheap jump scares always will.
That's insulting.
Yeah, true.
How have you been?
Well, you know,
I heard about what happened.
we don't have to talk about it.
Well, we can if you need to.
No need. I've moved on.
That's good. Are you going to be all right tonight with him on?
Like I said, I've moved on. We're all adults here, some more than others, and if he wants to act like a pathetic little child about it, then that's on him.
Moved on, have we?
Do you feel weird at all?
Not particularly. I mean, well, I just find it weird that everyone's going to be together again.
Almost everyone. Shit. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I know what you meant.
So how was talking to, you
Who?
Kevin?
Um, it was okay. I expected him to be all reclusive, but he was actually kind of excited. It was nice to see, but weird all the same.
I expected him to be different. No. No one should have had to go through what he did.
None of us deserve to go through it. It's not just him that had to suffer.
No, I know, but it's his sister? I don't know. But I'm excited to see him. I'm excited to see everyone. It's been such a long time.
Yeah. Can I ask you something?
What?
Can I or could I ask you a question?
Oh, yeah, sure.
How long do we keep this up?
What do you mean?
You know what I mean? How long is this charade going to last? I mean, sure, we had these amazing memories together, but that's all they are now, memories. I don't want to taint that by trying to continue what should have ended. And I don't want to sound harsh, but it's what might be easier for all of us.
Is this not what she would have wanted? For us all to be together again?
Well, yeah, sure. In an ideal world, we'd all be able to move on together, I guess.
In an ideal world, she'd still be here.
Well, she's not. And we have to deal with that eventually. I just think it might be easier to move on with it separately rather than trying to acknowledge that what once was whole is now missing a piece.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah, sure.
Everything is always so past tense with you. Do you not have any hope that she's, that she's still out there?
I can't. It's been a year. We have to accept the likeliest possibility. It just hurt me so much to wake up every morning and say to myself, oh, today might be the day she comes back. So I stopped saying it. What about you?
She always struck me as so resilient. No matter how much bullshit she had to wade through, she never gave up. And I just don't see her giving up easily, on herself or on us.
Yeah. I'm sorry what I said about the group.
It's fine. I know it might not mean much to you, but the hope that we could return to some state of normalcy together, it's the one thing that's kept me going.
Yeah, I know. Understand.
All I'm saying is it wouldn't hurt to try.
Yeah, I'll try.
Can I ask you something else?
Yeah, sure.
I know it's none of my business, and I what I wanted to ask...
Just spit it out, it's fine.
Is there anything going on with you and Chloe?
Or how many times have I told you?
No, I know, I'm sorry, I'm just anxious.
Well, anxious about what?
It seems like everything is telling me to give up on the hope of Alice still being out there somewhere. If you manage to move on and put her behind you, then that kind of feels like the last straw for me too.
What? Ori, I mean this as a friend and as someone who cares about you deeply. Just do not focus your mental well-being on what I do or what anybody else chooses to do. When I choose to move on, whenever that is, that doesn't mean that you have to move on too.
I just don't want to see you get hurt.
I won't get hurt. Besides, I could do a damn sight worse than Chloe if I were to, try again.
Yeah, I know. I'm probably just projecting.
Projecting how?
Well, things haven't been great for me in that department. Relationships aren't exactly my forte.
Well, you really think that was your fault and not, fundamentally a problem?
Hello.
Vincent, speak of
Good
the devil.
evening, ladies.
Vincent.
Auri, how are you?
Fine, thanks. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm good. Ah, Julia, it's been a while. How have you been?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Vincent. How's things with yourself and big changes I've seen?
Oh, yeah, it's great. Really, really good. I'm settling in well. It's a bit of a culture shock, but it's a nice change,
Well, when can we expect to see you back?
Flights back from Boston are a bit up in the air. If you don't mind the puns, so I'm not quite sure.
Well, there's no need to rush back, is there? Just, safety is everything.
That is so nice of you to be so considerate, Auri. Hey, how about you swim over to where I am and you drown halfway? How does that sound?
Yeah, fuck off, Vincent. If you're going to act like a prick, then I don't have to be here.
Ori.
What?
Look, sorry. Bad joke. Let's not.
Yeah, let's fucking not.
So how is it, Vincent? MIT, what's it like?
Oh, it is insane. I don't know what I was expecting, but it's like way beyond even that. It feels like I can just coast now. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm an MIT student. My whole life is already set out for me. It would be hard to fuck up now.
No, don't worry. I'm sure you'll find a way.
Funny. Funnier than usual stuff, Auri.
Well, there's no need to act like a cock about your achievements, is there?
I've done a lot to get where I am, haven't I?
No, you've paid a lot to get where you are, Vincent. Not the same thing.
Oh, okay. So now it's my fault that my family invested in my future.
Well, if you're going to take it for granted, then yeah, it is your fault.
For fuck's sake. You've always been bitter that my family been better off than yours?
Oh, is that what you see all poorer people as? As bitter?
Oh, no, of course not. Thanks for not listening to my argument, though.
You've always been an elitist prick. Can't believe it's taken me this long to notice.
Well, look, just because I'm not out there fighting for a better world doesn't mean I don't want one, all right?
I mean, you've got yours, so no one else deserves to get theirs. That's the mindset, right?
Guys, should you really be doing this now?
Tell him, not me.
Well, I'm talking to both of you. Can we please just get through this one call and then you guys literally never have to speak to each other ever again? What, 1 hour? 2 at most? Can you last that long?
I guess I can try.
Ori?
Fine. Where is everyone, anyway?
I'm not sure. I've just messaged Chloe. Said she... Oh?
Hey guys,
Hey.
Hey, Trey.
what I miss?
Oh, nothing much. How are you?
Good. Yeah, good.
Is that it? Nothing more?
Not much more to say, really. Oh, hey, did anyone see the new Dawson series on Netflix? I thought it was like a really interesting expansion of the established Dawson, though. Like, even if it did at times feel like a padded out film with not enough to justify its extended running done. There was some excellent puppet work from legendary Screaming Mad George, though. Oh. I'm doing the thing again. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I'll have to check it out. Ju-on, was it?
Yeah, that's right. It's the Japanese original that the Grudge franchise is based on.
Oh, I loved The Grudge with Sarah Michelle Gellar, right?
That movie is an abomination. That is an Americanized bastardization of the original source material. But, you know, you're entitled to your opinion.
Am I? Doesn't sound like I am.
Sorry. Don't mean to do that.
Relax, I'm just fucking around. Where's Dasha?
She'll be on soon. I think she was just finishing up some work.
How is she?
Yeah, good. Forget about her, though. Big man on campus over here. What's it like? What's it like over there at MIT?
Oh, it is amazing. Brilliant campus, brilliant people. It's tough, but it's so worth it.
Do you know some of the people who have gone to MIT?
Oh, well, yeah.
Like, Tony Stark, Lex Luthor, Ben Gates, Will Hunting. Insane list. Amazing list.
Yeah, you do realise that they're fictional characters, right?
I mean, yeah, but still.
I've been really, really struggling to find a pickup, though.
What do you mean?
You know, I can't find a contact.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a uni campus. Should be too hard to find one.
You'd think so, yeah, but my doormate Kyle is, for lack of a better word, a pussy. I figured he could help me out.
What are you two talking about?
You know.
You're smoking weed again?
Amongst other things, yeah.
Why?
Because I'm 20, Auri. I don't really see the problem.
You could use the dark web.
The dark web. When did you ever use the dark web?
Well, I haven't. I've tried, but I haven't had much success.
What would you need to use the dark web for?
Well, I just find it interesting. Like, it's a whole separate system for all of man's vices. I mean, it would make a great story.
Okay, then. Oh, hey, Trey. What's it been like at Dash's?
It's fine. Her mum's got this weird thing about meat, though.
Ooh, saucy.
No, fuck off. I mean, her mum doesn't like any meat in the house. It's been so hard not to have like meat for like weeks. I literally killed to have a steak.
You are literally killing something every time you have
Boy,
a steak.
don't do this.
Relax, I'm joking.
Hi.
Hi, Dasha.
There you go. You good?
Sure, you?
Never better. How come you and Trey aren't together on the call?
We just thought it'd be better to do this separately, you know?
I'm pretty sure she asked me. We just thought it would be easier to do it this way. One person, one camera, less complicated that way.
And where are you?
I'm in the spare room, Trey's in my room.
Oh, the spare room. Has that been your hideout? Your woman cave?
Is that what you ladies are calling it nowadays?
Fuck off, Vincent.
Yeah, something like that. Where are the other two?
I've been messaging Chloe. She said she'd just be out the shower soon, but I'm not really sure about Kevin, though.
He's definitely going to join there, right?
Yeah, he should be.
Okay, should we start?
Why would we? Not everyone's here.
Yeah, but we don't know how long they're going to be.
And? What's the point in doing this if not everyone's here?
Oh, fine, Jesus Christ. Have we all got something to read?
Yeah, I've got something. It's been nice to focus on writing for once instead of, you know, other things.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's fine. Have you got something?
Yeah, I've been working on something for a while. Auri?
Yeah, I've got something.
Guys, am I the last one?
No, still got Kevin to come. Should be on soon.
Oh, he's probably just eating.
Well, you can just eat on camera, though. We won't judge him. Well, I'm not doing it. You're not judging me.
No, we are. It is quite loud.
Oh, shit.
Nice. Oh, I'm joking. Hey, Chloe, I saw about your poems. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's only a start, but it feels great to finally be published in a real book.
You know, it could be the start of big things.
Well, who knows? There's not really much of a market for poetry outside of Instagram.
Well, you're still talented enough. You could be like the catalyst that reignites the poetry world once more.
Well, thanks.
So what poems?
Huh?
Why did you choose your poems to publish? Your stories were always amazing.
Oh, well, poems were a whole lot easier to write. I didn't have to do much apart from putting my catharsis into words. Stories just required a lot more time and effort, and all came out a bit false in a way.
So you're going to be reading poems tonight, is that it?
No. Of course not. Just because I'm a poet now doesn't mean my stories won't be able to scare the shit out of you.
All right.
You fucking pussy.
Fucking hell, no.
Sorry, was that a bit too much?
Not at all. Keep going.
Hey.
Hey, Kevin, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah. How is everyone?
Yeah.
All right, thanks.
How are you feeling about tonight?
I'm okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm okay. Just excited to get going. Oh, I think we all are. Hey, man. Hey, Vincent. How's things over there?
Oh God, here we go again.
They're good, thank you. Better than I was expecting, mate.
Yeah. So
What?
everyone's here. Should we get started?
Don't see why not.
Yeah. So has everyone got their drinks?
Yeah, is orange juice okay?
Yeah, of course. We don't have to get drunk. And that goes for you too, Vincent.
Wait, I'm limiting myself tonight. 2 bottles of wine maximum. Promise.
Jesus Christ. Okay. So before we get started, I just wanted to say a few words. I haven't really written anything or planned, but I just felt like we had to say something.
Yeah, of course.
So it's officially been a year since Alice first disappeared. Nevertheless, we are hoping that she returns to us in person or in spirit. And I don't know about you guys, but ever since she left our lives, I haven't really felt whole.
Are you okay?
No, it's fine. I'm okay. Alice was the first person I ever loved, and the idea of being in love has felt impossible since she left. I still love her, even if she only exists in my memories of her. And I've had my doubts about this group and our purpose in a world where we're no longer complete, but more than anything, I'd like for us all to be happy. And that happiness might be different from what we once knew, but still achievable. And obviously, I know how hard it's been for everyone else. I lost a girlfriend. Kevin, you lost your sister. You lost the person who's been your best friend ever since you were born. And I'm so sorry for that.
Thank you, Julia. And I'm sorry too. I can't imagine your experience either.
Thank you. And this is sort of for everyone, but I'm sorry if I haven't been there for everybody when they've needed me over the past year. I've been not a great friend, but don't think that means that I don't care about everyone here, because I do. So if we can all raise a glass to Alice, may she soon return to us.
To Alice.
To Alice.
To Alice. Did anybody else want to say anything?
I'd like to.
Yeah, go ahead.
Alice is my best friend. She's like the sister I never had, but if she'd been my sister, I would have been jealous of her. You know, of her beauty, her radiance, her ability to spark joy in other people. We've known each other since we were 5, and I can honestly say she's changed my life for the better. I don't know if I would have had the strength or resilience to be where I am today without her guidance and reassurance. She's the fiercest person I know, and it's that ferocity that makes me believe that she's out there still, trying to find her way back to us. And I honestly believe she will. Right, before you all see me break down in tears, should we begin?
Yeah, sure. So, without further ado, the 43rd Spectral Congregation shall begin.
You still have to do that cheesy intro.
Well, it's tradition, Trey. Now, who wants to go first?
I've been sitting on something for a while.
Go ahead.
Okay, so this story is called The Bolivian Prince.
Ooh, scary.
Fuck off, mate. Okay, so around the middle of the 17th century, Bolivia's monarchy was ruled by King Rodrigo and his son, Prince Carlos. Rodrigo was known for being one of the most vicious dictators in all of the southern hemispheres. He regularly slaughtered his own people, flaying them, disemboweling them, and dismembering them with even the slightest dissent. Almost all of his subordinates hated him, but none could challenge him because of the sadistic private military protecting him. His son, Carlos, was jealous of his father, jealous of the power his father wielded.
Sounds like a shitty Netflix drama.
Shh! Shut the fuck up. Not finished. Carlos lived his life with reckless abandon. He was hated the same as his father, yet inspired none of the same fear. Most of that hatred came from his concubines.
Sorry, what are concubines?
Sex slaves.
Oh,
That's right. Sex slaves, who Carlos kept locked up, regularly abusing and demeaning for no other reason than the feeling of power it gave him.
Oh, of course. Vincent's first story is alpha male fantasy bullshit.
What the fuck is your problem?
Oh, come on, Auri, just let him finish his story. I mean, we've let everyone finish their stories, no matter the content. That's just the way that things have always been.
Thank you. Now, one day, Carlos wakes with the worst sickness coursing through his veins. He's deathly ill and deteriorating at a rapid pace, and no one can explain it. The city's top doctors visit him, but none can explain what is wrong with him. One by one, the doctors are slaughtered by the king for their uselessness. Carlos, unwilling to let go of the privileged existence he's been given, ventures deep into the Bolivian wild, searching for any help, medical or spiritual, that could lengthen his life. After days of searching, he reaches a small commune of villagers before collapsing. The villagers, recognizing their prince, take him in. The village elder, Yavinka, upon seeing the gaunt face of Carlos, says, "We shall give the boy monarch the help he rightfully deserves." They carry him through the woods to the fabled Tumba de Lazaro.
Oh, nice.
What?
It's the Tomb of Lazarus. It's a biblical reference.
Exactly. Lazarus's tomb was rumoured to have given him the ability to rise from the dead, bequeathed upon him by Christ himself. So, they take Carlos there, they lock him in the tomb for 4 days and let nature take its course. Now Lazarus, the saint, was bestowed with God's power and revived to carry God's word throughout the land. But good souls and evil souls, like that of Carlos, are affected differently by the tomb. When Carlos emerges, he is a vision of horror. The tomb has transformed him into the ghastly Pombero!
Sorry, wait. Did you say Pombear?
No, I said Pombero. It's a real thing from Bolivian mythology.
Calm down. I'm not the one who wrote a story about a fucking packet of crisps.
What is your problem?
I'm sorry. Carry on. What does this creature look like?
I said he is this vision of horror.
Yeah, no, you're not Lovecraft. You don't get to say, oh, it's a creature from your worst nightmares and let us imagine it. You have to describe it.
Fine. Okay, so it's got thick black hair, he's got eyes bulging out of its head, and it's about 4 feet tall. What is your problem, Trey?
No, nothing. I just wasn't expecting the monster in your story to be Danny fucking DeVito.
That's a very nice trait, is it? Better than just snatching your monsters from popular films like you do. No originality there.
You know what? If you're going to act like fucking dickheads, I'm not finishing my story.
No, guys, come on. Let's just let Vincent finish his story.
Thank you. Okay, so Carlos emerges as this horrific-looking creature. Upon seeing his reflection in the river, he grabs Yvinka and tears her head clean from her body. He begs the other villagers for a way to fix himself, and what they tell him presents him with a problem. Yvinka was the only one in the village capable of transforming him back, with only one other person trained to do it. Yvinka's daughter, Auri, who is one of Carlos's concubines back at the castle. He returns to the city, bloodthirsty and tormented, desperately seeking a way into the castle without being spotted by his father's guards. He finds a way in, easily enough, and finds Auri shackled and starved. She's weak, okay? She's weak. She's been mistreated and malnourished for years by Carlos. As he unshackles the dying Auri, he tells her that she can go back to her mother if she helps him return to his true form, despite the fact he has already killed her mother. As she begins the process, Carlos turns to find his father, Rodrigo, brandishing a sword. The king, seeing this hideous creature within the castle walls, threatening his son's favourite concubine, takes a swift action and impales the monster, letting it bleed out, slowly, wailing and choking. As this creature dies, Auri tells the king, this creature, the monstrosity you have slaughtered, is your own cursed son. You have killed your own child. The king, learning of his sins, takes the sword to himself and slits his throat. The kingdom, left without an heir, begins its transition towards a democratic rule. And who might the country have elected as their first president? The person who had suffered the most underneath the monarchy? Auri, once slave, now ruler.
Is that the end?
Yeah, I thought that was very clear.
Okay. Does anyone have any comments for Vincent?
I've got a question. First of all, what the fuck was that?
I don't know what you mean.
You do this every time. You say you've got a ghost story and it ends up not being a ghost story at all, just some dumb fable you've been reading about recently.
Well, come on, Auri, that is a bit harsh.
No, it's not. We're meant to be trying to scare each other here, not teach each other lessons based on outdated mythology. It's stupid.
Your response has been noted. May I kindly suggest you go fuck yourself?
Okay, guys, please, let's not do this.
No, this is meant to be a safe space where we can all share our stories. No one has ever been this harsh about Auri's stories, even if half of them are fucking dog shite.
Oh, fuck off.
I've got a comment.
Great.
I really liked it. It's clear you've done a lot of research. I mean, if I'm recalling correctly, Bolivia didn't have a ruling monarchy in the 17th century. But apart from all that, I thought the mythological stuff was really well thought out.
I took some creative liberty. Thank you very much.
I love the classic twist. Father kills his beloved son, then kills himself after realising what he's done. It's very cinematic.
Thank you, Trey.
Yeah, Carlos was a very hateable character. So, nice job.
That was the intention. Thank you, Chloe.
Okay, so who wants to go next?
I think Auri should go next. She seems to have a lot to say.
I'd rather read mine later. Thanks.
Oh, no, I'd rather you read yours now. I'm pretty sure we all would.
fine. Okay, so it's a first-person piece. I hope you guys don't mind. It's called The Scent. It was my final year of university when I first found out. I hadn't been home in about 4 months, and I could tell it was getting to my mum. She was messaging me less and less, and the messages were getting shorter and shorter. Instead of, how are you? How are your classes? How are your friends? When can you next come home? It was just, can't wait to see you. A sentence that once seemed nice and now seemed kind of ominous. I mean, of course she would want to see me, she's my mum, but the message, can't wait to see you, always left me with an uneasy feeling. I always felt like she held the power in that exchange. She was going to surprise me. I was always the victim of that forthcoming surprise. My mum never had an active social life. I wish she did. She fell out with most of her old friends. Most of them ended up moving away and not staying in contact, but it wasn't just their fault. My mum never made an effort to stay in contact with people. As soon as something seemed harder than usual, she gave up on it. After my dad left, I was pretty much the only person she talked to. I was an only child, my aunts and uncles were all tangled up in their own lives. If it wasn't for me, I doubt she would have talked to anyone. And that's why the repetitive messages worried me. If she didn't have much to say to me, who was her emotional outlet now? But surely I was just overthinking. That's why I kept telling myself it was just my overactive imagination trying to make a worst-case scenario. Maybe things had taken a turn for the worst, and her mental health had taken a tumble. Maybe not. I just tried to focus on my studies, finish out the term, and then go home and be there for my mum. I needed to just take a moment for me before I spent the rest of my time worrying about her needs. I arrived home just before Christmas. I'd just gotten off the bus and I had my headphones in. I remember the song I was listening to. It was Those Were the Days by Mary Hopkin. I haven't listened to it since. The smell was the first thing I noticed when I arrived at the front door. When her mental health got worse, it was evident. The washing piled up, dishes weren't cleaned, there was a musty atmosphere all throughout the house, but this was a different smell. A more worrying smell. I opened the door. I don't know what I was expecting. I called out for her. I called quietly because I wasn't expecting a response. I checked downstairs, every room, but I knew the smell was coming from upstairs. I crept up the stairs. The higher it got, the less it seemed I could remember how to walk. Her room was right at the end of the landing. I didn't bother checking any other room because I knew she'd be in hers, the only room in the house that often had its door closed. I opened the door. I'm thankful that she looked peaceful. She was smiling. It was a smile I wasn't used to seeing, but a smile that reassured me. When she left, she was in a better place than she had been for years. I didn't know what to do. I didn't call an ambulance first. I didn't even call my dad. I checked her phone because I had to confirm my suspicions. Every text I had received over the last few weeks had been scheduled by her before she left. She knew it was coming and she prepared so as to allow me the time that I needed. I still don't know what happened. They said she died of natural causes, but they don't seem to be able to tell me what those causes were. She wasn't old by any means, but she knew she was going to die. And for the next few weeks I felt disillusioned. The funeral came and went. It was small. That's the way she would have wanted it. If people weren't there for her in life, why should they be in death? I had no motivation to go back and finish my final year, but I knew it's what she would have wanted. I mean, she prepared messages to make sure that I wasn't distracted all throughout those last few weeks of autumn term.
Are you okay?
Yeah, sorry, I'm just trying to reword parts of it in my head.
It's fine. Take your time. There's no need to rush through it.
Thanks. My dad offered to come back and look after me for a couple of weeks. I didn't want to bother him, and I could tell he didn't want to be bothered. He may have offered, but it was with the expectation that I would say no. I went back to uni, trying to put my mind to something, anything, useful. It was around the beginning of February when I first started to notice things were different. I was in my room at uni when the smell returned. my dead mother's rotting scent. It was a scent I'd only smelled that one time, and I hoped to never smell again. And I knew it was her way of trying to communicate something to me from wherever she was now. I kept trying to get more out of her. I was begging, really, but it was just that putrid smell. My housemate worked full-time. Whilst on a course, it was the only way she could afford the extortionate rent, so I rarely saw her. I sent her a message asking if she could smell it too, and she replied a few days later saying she was visiting home and she'd be away for a while. So I was left alone in that house, with nothing more than the growing smell and my own dangerous thoughts. I concluded the smell must have been psychosomatic, the one lingering memory from the worst moment of my life. Nothing more, nothing less. That was until about a week later. I played my music quite loud when I was studying. It was the only way I couldn't get distracted by the small noises outside, but since Mum left, I hadn't listened to one song. Nothing could drown out that constant, dread-inducing buzz in my head. My housemate didn't mind the noise, but she would let me know if it became too much. I was sitting in silence downstairs in my room when I received her text. "Can you turn the music down?" I had two thoughts running through my head. What is she hearing when all I'm hearing is silence? And more importantly, how did I not know she was in the house? I knew what to expect when I went upstairs, no matter how inexplicable it was. She was in that same position, smiling, peaceful, and rotting. It's getting harder to convince people I had nothing to do with it. It's getting harder to convince myself. The only connection between them was me, yet the circumstances of their demise was exactly the same, and they both scheduled messages for me. That's why I'm writing this note. I can't find a way back from this. I can't find a way back to normality. There's only one way to get rid of this awful, unexplainable guilt, and there's only one way to get rid of that putrid smell. I've started to smell it again, and this time I don't want to find out where it's coming from.
Very nice, Auri.
Yeah, that was quite something.
I've got some questions if that's all right.
Yeah, sure.
So was it a suicide note?
Sure.
And the housemate was also dead?
Yeah, that's right.
And it was the protagonist who did it?
Well, it sure seems that way, doesn't it?
Thank you for reading that, Auri. Does anyone have any comments?
Yeah, I really liked it, Auri. Thought the ending was maybe a bit sudden. Could have a bit more build-up. I mean, I love the build-up towards her finding her mum. I just wish there was a little bit more in the second half.
Yeah, noted. Thanks, Kevin.
I like the characterization of the protagonist. It felt like an accurate portrayal of depression post-trauma.
Thanks, Vincent. Yeah, that means a lot.
I loved it. I could feel the character trying to convince herself that nothing was wrong, despite all of the evidence presented to the contrary.
Thanks. So, has anyone got anything else to read? Do you want to take a quick break then?
Yeah.
I don't mind, to emotionally recover of sorts.
Oh, what's wrong with him?
Weak bladder. Do you mind? I'm just got to go grab something to eat.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, what do we think is going on with them?
What do you mean?
Well, I can't be the only one who's noticed it. They seem super off tonight. Like, they're clearly pissed at each other.
Really? I haven't noticed it at all.
Dash has been snapping at him a lot recently. I'm not sure why.
Well, it must be because Trey's done something wrong. If anyone's likely to fuck up, it's him.
Well, we shouldn't make assumptions about other people's situations.
Well, do you think maybe it has something to do with the fact that they've been trapped together for so long? I mean, not to be rude or anything, but they have gone from seeing each other once every couple of weeks to every hour of every day. That would put a strain on anyone's relationship.
Or maybe, as Chloe said, we shouldn't really read into things like that. I mean, if they've got problems, that's for them to sort out. And if not, then we're reading into things that don't exist.
Don't think that I don't know what was going on. I was there on the call.
I know you were there, and you were in my room there. I can see you.
You didn't have to act like that, did you? We were just on the call. We were here for Alice, right? We were here to bring ourselves together after a year after Alice's disappearance, and we didn't need any of your fucking bullshit, right? We didn't want you to be all sassy and bitchy and that kind of fucking bullshit, right? We were just here.
I'm not doing anything. You can't tell me what to do. I can do whatever I want. I'm here to be here with my friends as well. I'm not here to be here with you.
You're acting like a fucking no, Dasha. Listen to me. I'm fucking telling you the truth. You're acting like a fucking idiot.
Would we be in the wrong for doing nothing about it?
Sassy, like, oh yeah, do that with me.
What happens if it starts to spill out?
We tried to come in together on the call, even if we were separate, right? We were here for someone else.
Sit by and let things get worse.
That wasn't here. Don't try and make this about
yourself.
yourself.
You're talking like someone who knows
You're
something.
making it about you by having a go at me right now, aren't you?
Because you were making a go at me all the time.
Vincent?
When you tried to talk back at me, when I tried to make a remark.
Oh my God, Vincent,
even if
what
it was
is it?
silly.
Yeah, because your remarks are fucking stupid.
Fuck! I said I wouldn't say anything.
Ruin everything.
Ori, I
I've
can't.
ruined everything.
If you don't tell us
right now,
that,
they're all on the call. They're
then I'll
probably
tell
waiting
them
for you
about
to what the
Jessica.
fuck is he doing? So don't
You
make this about
bitch.
me.
You wouldn't.
Shut the fuck up.
Do not tell me what to do.
Fine. Okay, I can't tell you everything, but
Fuck's sake.
do you remember a couple of months ago when Trey went to the retreat to the Lake District?
Yeah.
Alone?
Are you serious?
I'm not saying anymore.
Oh my God.
Wait, what happened?
Chloe, think about it.
Wait. Trey?
Yes, you can't say anything. I made a promise.
My lips are sealed.
Oh.
Was everybody so quiet for?
Nothing. We were just discussing who was gonna go next. Do you want to?
Sure, I can read my next.
Great.
I'll start now.
Don't you want to wait for Dasha to come back?
She might be a while.
Is she okay?
Yeah, why?
Just wondering.
Can I start?
Yeah, Trey, go ahead.
Okay. So this piece is called Lambs to Slaughter. So it was the winter of 1986. Our story focuses on four friends: Zach, his girlfriend Marnie, their friend Ryan, and Ryan's girlfriend Gina. The four of them had grown quite close over autumn, mostly shedding their old friendships to spend more time with each other. That's how they felt most comfortable, just the four of them. Zach and Marnie had been spending a lot more time together than usual, and it was getting to them. Zach's family had been having some financial issues, and to help his parents out, he was staying with Marnie and her family for a few months. Marnie's family were quite well off, more than happy to help. But Marnie herself was worried that the two of them being with each other constantly would have a negative effect on their relationship, and it did. So Marnie devised a plan. Herself and Zach would go to her parents' cabin for a few days to work on the relationship, without her parents being a constant overseeing presence. Her parents weren't too comfortable with just the two of them being alone in the woods, so they invited Ryan and Gina along too. When they arrived, the cabin wasn't reflective of Marnie's wealth. It was run down, barely functional, and had a constant permeating odour throughout. Still, they were determined to not let it get in the way of what needed to be done. On the first morning, Zach and Ryan went to the lake together to have a private conversation. Zach expressed his concerns about his relationship with Marnie. I don't know if I'm still able to offer her what she needs, you know what I mean? He said, she's grown a lot over the last year. She's grown in unexpected ways, and I'm struggling to meet her at that point. She's got her mindset on what she wants for the future, and I don't. I'm still struggling. So Zach begins to cry as he speaks, and Ryan comforts him. Zach wasn't one to show emotions often, so Ryan knew that something was really wrong. Ryan leans over to him and says, maybe she's been able to cope better with everything with... Do you know what happened? Earlier that year, Marnie and Zach were involved in an accident. It wasn't either of one of theirs fault, officially, as Marnie's family lawyer put it. There was a head-on collision. Zach was driving, and they'd both been drinking. It was only about a mile drive from the party back to Marnie's house, so Zach thought that it was worth the risk. Long story short, it wasn't. The other driver survived the collision. Passenger, young daughter, wasn't as lucky. It haunted them, as it would haunt anyone. Ryan, none the wiser, continues to try to comfort Zach. It was an accident. It wasn't your fault. You need to push forward and just focus on what matters, being there for Marnie. She was in the crash too. She needs you, even if you feel like she doesn't. Zach smiles weakly, and the two of them go back to the cabin. Ryan and Gina, at Ryan's suggestion, go for a walk together in the woods. Zach and Marnie, with their newfound freedom, begin a conversation. Marnie began. Guess I can start. I don't really know what to say. I sort of came here with an idea of what I wanted to say, needed to say, but it's all gone. I guess what I wanted to say is that I don't feel comfortable in this relationship right now. I don't know if I ever will again. I mean, it feels like we never did address what happened. We came up with this lie together, and then we never discussed the truth again. I can't live with that guilt, even if it's just by association. I don't know how you can. Now, Zach is hurt when he hears this from Marnie. She's never usually been this forthcoming. He was silent for a bit, not knowing how to respond. I love you, Marnie, and I made a mistake. I made more than a mistake. It was a tragedy. And I have to live with that. I live with the choice that I made that night. I can't convince you that I'm perfect because you've seen that I'm not. But what I could promise you is that I could try to prove to you that I am fundamentally a good person. Not a perfect person, but a good person who loves you. Marnie responded. Tears begin to fill Zach's eyes again, but she doesn't show much emotion. It was the most serious that Zach had ever seen her. As sure as she was serious. I love you, Zach, but I can't look at you without seeing the hurt that you've caused. You can continue to stay at my house for as long as you need to, because I do love you, and I will always be a close friend, but I can no longer be in a relationship with you. I hope that in time you can understand why. Marnie leaves the main room of the cabin, disappearing into the bedroom and closing the door.
Trey, can I talk with you?
Okay,
Separately?
I haven't finished my story.
I'm sure everyone can wait a few minutes. Right, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, what the fuck was that?
I mean, I know we put some personal stuff in our stories, but that was a bit too much, wasn't it? That felt like a verbatim conversation that they had had.
I knew this was a bad idea.
What do you mean?
Well, I was anxious about seeing everyone again. It felt too soon, and clearly I was right about that.
No, don't do that. Don't let their little freak out justify your own desire to not be here.
You didn't want to be here, Julia.
No, Kevin, it's not like that. Don't listen to Auri. Like I said, I was just anxious about seeing everyone again for the first time after ages, and it felt too early, and clearly I was right in thinking that.
Well, maybe we shouldn't be thinking about it too much. Maybe they're just having a conversation. Everything is all right.
Things clearly aren't fine, Chloe. You just heard Trey's apology, however thinly veiled that was.
What I heard was someone trying to understand the trauma their relationship was in. I mean, who are you to say anything, Vincent?
What's your point?
You don't understand how a relationship is supposed to function. Demonstrated that well enough when we were together.
Guys, do you really have to do this now?
Well, if not now, then when? Because we never really did talk about this.
Auri, can we not? I know you feel a bit more comfortable now that you've got your little audience here, but is this really necessary?
I don't care that they're here. They can fuck off for all I care. No offence, guys.
And taken.
Listen, Vincent. I know it's easier for you to burn all bridges, cut all ties, and fuck off into the ether without addressing your actions, but that's not how the real world works. You need to be held accountable.
Accountable for what?
For fucking me over, Vincent! For leading me on for years and then ending things when they became inconvenient for you. I mean, I uprooted everything to try and make this relationship work, and you couldn't put in the same effort.
I did try, Auri, because I loved you!
Oh, fuck off. As soon as you got into MIT and had to move thousands of miles away, you dropped everything. Every meaningful relationship you'd ever had, gone in an instant, so you could follow your dreams of being an uptight prick.
I'm sorry. I wish things could have been different.
They could have been, Vincent. If you'd wanted them to be, then they could have been.
Look, maybe I wasn't strong enough to maintain a long-distance relationship. Is that what you wanted to hear, yeah?
No.
That I'm as weak as the version of you that exists in your mind?
I don't need to hear anything. Doesn't mean anything to me. I just think you need to be held accountable.
Well, consider it fucking acknowledged.
Is everyone okay?
Yeah, we're all good. Are you,
We're good. Should I
you know?
Yeah,
should I
Trey.
finish my story?
Yeah. I think after Trey is done with his story, we should all take a 15-minute break to gather ourselves for the next few stories. I think is what everyone needs. Do you guys feel comfortable in doing that?
Yeah. Good idea.
So, Zach and Marnie have just had a tough conversation. Marnie stays in the bedroom for an hour or so as Zach begins to prepare dinner for the group. 4 hours later, and Ryan and Gina haven't returned from their walk. It's beginning to get dark. Marnie's worried about them. More worried than Zach, who can't seem to take his mind off of his own situation. As the night gets darker and the hours creep on, there's still no sign of Ryan and Gina. Marnie considers going to look for them, but her own nyctophobia stops that from happening.
Sorry, what's
Fear of the
nyctophobia?
dark. Zach, being typically useless and wallowing in his own feelings, doesn't even seem to notice the fact that they're not there. Marnie grabs Zach and pulls him into the centre of the room. She addresses him directly. Zach, don't you understand? Something might have happened to them. We have to go and make sure that they're okay. Zach's eyes bloodshot, his face expressionless. There's thousands of acres of wood and where we even begin. I think we should just wait. And they wait for about half an hour more. Marnie grows more and more agitated. At around 11 p.m, noises begin. Just small taps on the window at first, something that could be mistaken for tree branches, but enough to unsettle Marnie. She pleads with Zach for some form of empathy, and he finally relents. He goes outside tentatively and looks around. Nothing. No sights. No sounds. He goes back inside and locks the door. He comforts Marnie, although it now feels strange to comfort her. Then the knocking starts. It's slow and rhythmic. And it doesn't stop. In fact, it only gets louder and stronger, so much so that the door seems like it's about to break off of its hinges. Zach rushes to the door, pushing all of his weight against it, and the knocking stops. Zach breathes quietly but intensely. Marnie weeps to herself in silence. The silence of the cabin is broken by a blade piercing the cabin's wooden front door. The large blade slices right through the door and becomes lodged in Zach's cheek, cutting at least an inch into his face. He fights back tears as blood begins to pour down his neck. Slowly the blade is removed from the door, with Zach in increasing agony with every second of passing. He crawls away from the door towards the center of the room, clutching Marnie protectively, yet helplessly. The door finally breaks open. A shadowy figure stands in the doorway, holding the blade in his left hand and a round object of some kind. The object drops and begins rolling slowly towards Zach and Marnie. It's the severed head of Ryan. Zach and Marnie scream as you would if you saw a severed head rolled towards you. Zach and Marnie stare at the shadowy figure in the doorway, trying to make out his features, but he just stands there, breathing heavily. When he finally steps forward, they're shocked by what they see. Clutching his iconic machete, it's Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th.
Fuck's sake, Trey.
What?
You can't just take a well-established horror character and make him the antagonist of your story. That is copyright infringement.
It's not copyright infringement if I'm just telling it to my friends.
Then it's just lazy storytelling then.
Oh, fuck off, Vincent. Let me finish. You know what? Never mind. Jason walks into the cabin and kills them both at the end.
No, Trey, just finish the story, okay?
No, that's pretty much how it ends. He just walks into the cabin and kills them both.
Okay. Fair enough. Does anyone have any comments for Trey?
There was a bit of a tonal shift in that story, don't you think?
I changed the ending to make it a bit more horror focused.
When did you change the ending?
But about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, I loved the setup. It was very detailed.
I would have liked it a lot better if the start and end linked a bit more, but I understand why you might have changed it. I hope you're all right, mate.
Good, we're all good.
Yeah, we're good.
Good. So I think I mentioned for us to take a break. You guys want to do that?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I've got some stuff I need to sort out as well with my own story.
Yeah, and I think we're all a bit on edge, you know, reasonably so with everything that's happened.
Yeah, I could go for something to eat, actually.
Yeah, so in about 15 minutes we'll all come back here and reconvene again. Sound good?
Yeah, all good. See you guys then.
Yeah, we'll do.
See you later.
Bye, guys.
Hey, sorry, I was just calling to let you know I'll be outside in about 20 minutes. Been a long night. Sorry I haven't kept in contact much. I never really know what to say on these things. Just, I love you, and I can't wait to see you. I know it might not seem like it, but I really would do anything for you. You mean
Hey,
everything
girl.
to me.
Oh, hi.
You good?
Yeah, sorry, just reminiscing.
Sorry to interrupt.
Well, it's fine. You didn't. How you feeling?
A lot better now, thanks. You?
Yeah. I feel a lot less anxious now, especially since I seem to be the least on edge tonight.
Yeah, it is. It's tense. I won't lie. It's hard. It's harder than I thought it would be, but I feel like things can't get that much worse than that first half.
Yeah. Can I ask you something?
Yeah, sure.
You mentioned something earlier about Vincent, and I was just wondering what you meant.
What did I say?
Something about Jessica?
Oh, I would love to tell you, Julia, but he'd kill me.
Well, why do you care what he thinks?
Well, because... Yeah, actually, you know what? Fuck him.
I can't wait.
Okay, so we were together one night, you know, back when things were normal, and we were getting a bit frisky, and we'd been smoking a bit, and we were just going at it, and then in the midst of all his grunts, he just goes, "Ah, Jessica."
Shit, what did you do?
Well, I shoved him off, and I, like, stared at him, and then my angry scowl faded, and I started laughing hysterically.
Why did you laugh?
Because about an hour or so before, we'd just finished watching Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Oh! Oh, crap, that's hilarious.
Mate, I've never seen someone sober up that quickly. Like, the utter shame on his face when he realised he'd been imagining fucking a cartoon character. Like, it was way too funny to be mad at.
It's brilliant.
But do not tell him that I told you.
Cross my heart.
Hey guys.
Hey, how are you two doing?
We're good, thanks. A lot better now.
Good. And I just want to reiterate, you know, if you guys ever need someone to talk to, I'm always here.
Oh, thanks. I know we haven't been in much contact recently, but you guys are still my closest friends and always will be. I'm sorry about the way I've acted.
You don't have to apologise. I haven't been the best friend myself.
I'm sorry about Vincent and everything.
Oh, that's fine. Hopefully he'll have matured more now that we've had a break.
No, I mean, I'm sorry about everything he did before. I heard that things weren't great between you two and I wasn't there for you when you needed me.
It's fine. I mean, I'm not fine, but whether or not I managed to get over it has nothing to do with you. You know, you're a great friend. You always have been. I'm sorry if I
want to
haven't
speak for
always been.
Dasher. Of course, but we've always been grateful for your friendship, Auri. And you too, Julia. I just wish that we were all here.
So do I, but we've got to do the best with what we've got.
Hi.
Hey, Kevin, you alright?
Yeah, I'm alright, thanks, Auri. How are you guys?
Yeah, I'm alright.
Dasha?
I'm feeling better than I have in a long time, thanks, Kev.
So excited about the future.
I'm excited to see the rest of the stories. I'm expecting a lot from all of you guys. You have had a year to perfect them.
Well, I hope I can scare you.
Oh, it doesn't take much to scare Julia, we all know that.
Oh, fuck off, Auri. The story didn't scare me, it just really upset me.
Yeah, sorry about that. I probably should have gone with a scarier one.
Yeah, I was thinking about something earlier, actually, and it's weird I don't know this about you guys already, but what's the one thing that scares you the most? Like, not a particular film or story, but like just one concept, like gore or heights or anything.
The darkness has always usually scared me. Just being surrounded by this encroaching pitch black nightmare that swallows everything in its path, despite having no physical presence.
Oh, that's a bit much.
Well, what about you?
I guess I'd probably have to say a blood man.
Wait, a what?
A blood man. A man made entirely of blood.
And when have you ever seen a blood man?
Well, never. It's not been done in the film because it's too difficult to pull it off effectively. But don't you think the concept is kind of creepy? Like, he's a normal man, but only made of blood.
Do you know how stupid you sound right now?
Next time you're confronted in the street by the blood man, don't come running to me. What are you scared of, Auri?
I guess I'd have to say death. I know it's kind of generic, but like, I'm really scared of dying. And like, I know it's cool not to fear death, but I really do. Like, I don't want to get to the end of my life and find out I haven't yet lived.
Jesus, that's a bit deep. Julia?
I guess I'd have to say I'm scared of the more human stuff, like human depravity, the extent that humans will go to hurt each other. I just find it a bit more interesting than blood men.
No. Don't mock him. He'll get you when you least expect it.
Hey, Julia, what's that?
What? Wait, you talking about?
See, behind you, there's something there. Yeah, behind you.
Sorry, I thought I'd put this away earlier.
That's a bit creepy. What is that?
It's for a film project that I'm working on. It's a little bit avant-garde. and I've been told it might be a good way to process some grief.
Oh, nice. Sounds exciting.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys will love it when it's done.
Guys,
Hey, Chloe, are you ready to read?
what, like now?
Oh, no, just like in general.
Oh no, yeah, definitely. I gave my story another read, and I think it's good to go.
Dasha? Kevin?
Yeah. Look forward to reading mine.
Yeah, I haven't read mine through in a while, but I think it should be okay. I can read next if you want.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, did I miss anything?
No. Nothing important, at least.
What?
Nothing.
No, what is it?
It's nothing, I promise.
Okay then. Should we start?
Don't see why not.
Yeah, I can go.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, my stories have sort of changed over the last few months, so they're different.
How have they changed?
Quite a lot. You'll see.
Okay, I'm sure they'll still be great.
Thanks. Let me just pull it up.
No, I know you guys were talking about something before I arrived. What was it?
It was nothing, I promise.
Then what was so funny?
It's nothing. I haven't done anything.
Yeah, and if she did, she was an friend.
Julia!
You fucking told her!
Relax, it's a harmless joke.
Oh, clearly not if you're still laughing about it.
I'm still laughing about it because it's one of the funniest things I can ever remember experiencing. Just relax.
What's the tea you spill?
It's nothing. There you go, Vincent. I'm not going to tell anyone else. Are you happy now?
Oh, fuck off.
Well, okay, come on, Vincent. Right. I'm sorry. It's my fault. I drew it out of her. I apologise. Are you happy now?
Fine, whatever.
Oh,
What's wrong, Dasha?
it's just, I know this is going to sound weird, but my story's changed.
Oh, what do you mean?
It's like someone's edited it since I last read it.
This is an interesting start. I like it.
What?
Is this not part of the story? It's pretty meta stuff. I love it.
No, I'm being serious. There's stuff here that I didn't write.
You fucked when you wrote it?
I mean, I had a little bit to drink, but I know what I wrote and what I didn't.
That's weird.
Yeah, it is weird, isn't it, Trey?
What? Oh, I see. You're trying to say that I had something to do with it, right?
All I'm saying is my parents know not to touch my computer, and this seems like your idea of a joke.
I've already had to rewrite my story tonight. Why would I also want to rewrite yours?
I don't know, because you're a dickhead?
Are we doing this again? It's getting boring now.
No, we're not doing this again. If I don't get to sit here and call Vincent a prick for an hour straight, then you two don't get to argue. Fair?
Sounds fair to me. Dasha?
Sure.
Okay.
Has it changed a lot?
Not massively, but there are definitely words and phrases in here that I never used.
Strange.
Maybe I did have too much to drink.
Are you okay to read your story? Or whoever's story it is?
Okay. This piece is called Stuffing.
Oh, fuck.
What?
Nothing, it's just... I remember this one. Dash described it to me a few weeks ago. It's a little bit fucked.
And no spoilers.
Okay. Well, whenever you're ready.
Okay. So, our story is set at Christmas time. Oscar, our protagonist, is a standard 17-year-old doomer type. He's just absolutely pessimistic about the state of the world and reveling in the death throes of late-stage capitalism. To him, Christmas is nothing more than the ultimate representation of Western greed and plutocratic suffering.
I love him already.
Another reason he hates the Christmas season is that he feels as though it's always overshadowed his birthday, which just so happens to fall on Christmas Day. With his all-important 18th birthday quickly approaching, he's not expecting his family to pay much notice. They're too busy preparing for the arrival of extended family. Oscar's parents don't share his viewpoints about the holiday season. They're more old-fashioned in a way. They celebrate Christmas. They enjoy the season's traditions of giving and family and all the rest. Oscar has often felt like an outcast in his own family. His attempts to convince them that they are participating in a gross display of unnecessary excess have been unsuccessful, to say the least. Regardless, he's very much looking forward to turning 18 and the freedoms that come with it. He's already made plans to move in with some friends in the city, as far from his family as he can possibly be. In shorter terms, he's done with them, and they're starting to realise this. So, behind his back, they've been planning a big surprise, and they've been planning it for a while. Oscar has no idea what they're about to surprise him with. So, in the week before Christmas, Oscar spends most of his time planning his journey. He's packing only the stuff he needs, deciding when to leave so that his parents aren't around to stop him, and trying to find a way to safely hitchhike. He's thought about this for years now, and he can hardly believe that the moment is almost at hand. All he has to do is make it through his birthday. Something that should have been easier than it was. So, the big day arrives. It's December 25th, Oscar's birthday. As he expected, his parents don't even offer him a happy birthday. This lack of acknowledgement, which he thought was the bare fucking minimum, only further reinforces his decision to leave these people behind forever. Oscar retreats to his room and continues planning. And then, dinner time. Oscar ventures downstairs, angry, yet hungry, and finds nothing. No food prepared at all. All he finds are his entire family, parents, aunts, uncles, grandparents, sitting silently, almost as if they were waiting for him. He always resented not having any siblings or cousins his age. Every family gathering ended up him being surrounded by a bunch of old people. He didn't have any idea of the cultural shift going on within his mind. As his mind drifts, he tries to focus on the strangeness of his family's current state. They all have that same pre-intervention, concerned smile on their face. He's got a few thoughts running through his head. What do they have to intervene about? They don't know anything about his drug taking. They sure as shit know that they won't change his mind politically about anything. Have they gone ahead and eaten the entire Christmas dinner without him? That would be the last straw. He sits down in the lone, empty chair. Their smiles don't fade. If anything, they seem to grow. Oscar's mother leans forward. We're sorry if we gave you the impression that we didn't care about your birthday. The truth is we care more than we let on. We know how important this day is for you, and so we've been planning a big surprise. Oscar's eyes glaze over. He can't take any more of their bullshit, but he knows that he's just got to hold out a little while longer, and then he can be free. His father takes over the conversation. We feel like you're finally ready. You finally matured. The glint in his father's eyes alarms Oscar, although probably less than it should have done. His father continues. We know you've got your viewpoints about how the world works, Oscar, and we do too. And we're probably not going to change your mind about a lot of things. Oscar grows more uncomfortable. His parents never addressed their political divide, and he was fine with that. He didn't like the directness with which his parents were talking with him. We know you're planning to leave, Oscar. We've been watching you. But we don't feel comfortable letting you loose on the world with these dangerous thoughts inside of your head. It's not too late. You can denounce your masters, forget the words of Marx and Engels, bury Gramsci deep within the prison of your psyche, and join the real world. Or, plan B, you serve a different purpose. Oscar, trying to ignore the insanity of their current conversation, finds it surprising that his father, who he lovingly refers to as having dog shit for brains, knows who the famous scholars are. Oscar sits in the request for a moment. Unsure of how to respond, he sits back, gets comfortable and says, with all due respect, go fuck yourselves. You don't get to decide what I think or what my future holds for me. This is the end of our relationship. His father's loving facade drops and he shrugs. I fear you might be right, Oscar. This does seem to be the end of our relationship. All of a sudden, Oscar feels a sharp prick in his neck He wearily turns to his right, to his grandfather standing above him, smiling sadistically and holding an empty syringe. Oscar struggles for a moment, but the solution acts quickly. He doesn't know how long he was unconscious for. He doesn't know what happened to him whilst he was unconscious. He only knows the state in which he awoke. He can't move, yet still feels endless pain coursing through his veins. His knees bound to his chest, his arms tied behind his back, his skin burnt and flaking. He felt lighter than usual, on account of the fact that most of his innards had been dragged out through his rectum and replaced with sage and onions. What little screams he can get out are blocked by the apple in his mouth. His eyes scan the room and see his family starving and ravenous. As his father steps forward and cuts the first slice from his son's tenderloin, Oscar's eyes roll back into his head in a euphoria of pain. Blood pouring down his thigh, Oscar accepts fate because of the age-old truth. What's one more young person being leached off of by the older generation?
Well, fuck.
I loved it. When did you write that?
Like a month ago. It was a bit rushed, sorry.
No, it was great. It was really, really great.
I really did like it. It did feel a bit too political, though.
No, fuck you. It was exactly as political as it needed to be.
I'm allowed my own opinion.
Thank you, Vincent, for liking it.
Yeah, it was a bit too gross, for me at least, but in a good way. How did you think of it?
I was just going through weird stories on the internet, and I found this story about this guy who was offering to pay like an obscene amount of money to be cooked and eaten for like pleasure. So I started writing that story, but getting into the mindset of somebody like that honestly felt detrimental to my mental health. So I switched it to be sort of like more political, like society.
That's what it was.
Sorry?
I was trying to remind myself of what film it reminded me of, and that was it. Like Society. What a classic.
I mean, I thought you would have guessed that sooner. We watched it a few months ago.
Yeah. Fuck. Completely slipped my mind.
Like, I really loved it. I loved the imagery. And I like how you also had to specify which kind of stuffing was used.
If you're going to cook and eat someone, you're going to want them to taste nice, right?
Well, I can't argue with that.
Speaking of, I am getting a little bit hungry. Do you mind if I just go and chuck something in the oven quick?
Go ahead, we'll wait.
Sure.
Cheers.
Is anyone else a little bit worried about Dasha?
Why?
Because how the fuck can she have an appetite after telling that story?
Yeah, truth, but she always was a little bit intense.
Yeah, politically, but not like psychotically.
If her story unsettled you, isn't it effective?
Yeah, I guess. But it was so different from the old stuff she used to do. I miss that fantasy horror.
Yeah, but that fantasy horror stuff, that wasn't as scary though, was it?
No, but it was cute.
I think she's changed. Like, not in a bad way. I think she's a different person now. Well, I think most of us are different people now.
Yeah, it's hard to say the same after, you know.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This feels weird, doesn't it?
Well, what do you mean?
Like, it's probably good that we're all different people, because we went through something traumatic and we changed because of it. That's healthy, but still kind of scared.
Scared of what?
Scared of us growing apart. I know it sounds pathetic, but like, it's okay to admit I'm scared of change.
We're all scared of change. Like, it's tough, but we've got to be tougher. I mean, we're all fucked up people. I've heard everything we've written over the years, and trust me, that has messed me up for life. But like, if you can tolerate having those thoughts inside of your head, you can probably handle any trauma that comes your way. And just because the group has fundamentally changed, that doesn't mean this has to be the end.
Yeah. Thanks, Kevin.
I think tonight was kind of necessary. We all had a lot to say, and probably most of it would have been better said in private, but at least it's all out there now.
Yeah, well, it's not over yet. We still have 3 stories left to go.
God, really? my heart's probably gonna give out by the end.
I mean, if someone dies on the call, it would be a fitting end.
Pretty meta, I love it.
You've been saying meta a lot, Trey. Do you know what it means?
Yeah. It's like, irony, right?
No, not at all. It's when a work is self-referential of its genre or medium. You don't have to use words if you don't know what they mean.
In what way is it not meta? We're telling each other horror stories, and you said that someone dying on the call would be a fitting end? Like, isn't death a convention of horror?
Death is a convention of life, Trey. By that measure, any time anyone died, it would be meta.
This group really that inclined to argue about a word. Get over it.
What did I miss?
Just your boyfriend being a fucking dickhead.
Oh, fuck off.
As usual. So, who's next?
Kevin, do you want to go?
Sure. Yeah, I guess I can.
Well, take your time. If you want to stop at any point, then that's okay.
Yeah, thanks. I've just been a bit nervous about reading this is all.
You don't have to read that one if you want. I mean, you don't have to read at all if you don't want to.
No, it's alright. I think this is something I need to tell people.
Okay. Well, like Julia said, just take your time.
Yeah, thanks. So this doesn't really have a title, so I'll just start. So this all started around 3 weeks ago. My first year of university had just finished, and it was a tough year to get through with everything that happened before, but yeah, I'd made it. I just moved back in with my parents for a while. Things were slow during that period. I didn't really go out much. Most of my friends weren't around since they lived quite so far away from me. I mean, I did have some friends that lived close by, but it had been a while since I'd last seen them. Nothing's really been keeping me occupied in this 3-week period. Then about 2 weeks ago, we had some new neighbours moving next door. And my parents were always quite the sociable type, so we went over to greet them the day they moved in. They were a lovely couple, Janice and John. They're a little bit younger than their parents, but they are a whole lot funnier. And we really got on quite well. And they were so welcoming too. Probably more welcoming than they should have been to a family that were clearly in distress. And they have a daughter too. Her name's Sophie. She's about my age, maybe a year or two younger. We didn't really click too well at first. Well, not because for any bad reason though. I think it's just neither of us really felt comfortable with starting a conversation. Well, anyway, the night after they moved in, I went to bed as usual. I got used to the late nights at uni, so my sleep schedule was still adjusting whilst being back at home. So I was just laying in bed, just staring at the ceiling, trying to dry my eyes out, trying to make myself feel tired. And that's when I heard it for the first time. The most horrific screaming I had ever heard, just piercing through the walls. It was continuous for about 15 minutes and then it just stopped. I had only spoken to her briefly, of course, but I was sure that it was Sophie's. I didn't know what to do. I wanted to help, but I felt completely useless for a brief moment, like I was paralysed. I didn't know what to do. Didn't know if I was dreaming about it. I asked my parents the next morning and they said they couldn't hear anything at all night. They didn't hear this horrifying sound once. And then they just started playing around with me, Oh, dreaming about the new neighbour, are we? The usual stuff that parents want to do. I was genuinely worried and they just did not seem to care. So it continued for the next few nights, always at 2:30 a.m. She would scream for about 15 minutes and then nothing. Dead silence. And about a week ago, I decided to go over and talk to her under the guise of making new friends. Well, that's not entirely true. I did actually want to be friends with her, but in that moment, I was more concerned of her. I just wanted answers, I guess. She's nice. We hung out for a couple of hours, listening to music, talking about school and stuff. Yeah, she was really sweet. I eventually brought up the scream and she seemed like kind of startled. Like she said, "You heard me?" And I was confused. I didn't know what she meant. But I'm surprised the whole neighborhood didn't hear her. But she was happy that someone had heard her all this time, but she just quickly dismissed it as nightmares she'd been having ever since moving into the new house. And then I pressed her for more information I probably shouldn't have. I didn't want to make her feel uncomfortable, but I needed to know what was making her scream in that way. So then she explained to me that every night at the foot of her bed, she would see the same thing, some horrific vision of madness just standing, scratching at the wall. The thing was muttering to itself, and Sophie could only make out brief snippets every now and then. "Let me in. Please. I'm so close. I'm so close." And after about 15 minutes of scratching and whispering, the thing began to sink into the floor until it was gone. And that's when the screaming stopped. I assured her if it were ever to happen again, I would rush straight over and make sure she was okay. I guess the least I could have done. Yeah, and she was happy. Happier than I'd seen somebody in a long time. It's like she'd been screaming out so long for someone to hear her, and no one really had until this point. And then she kissed me. I was a bit taken aback, but I wasn't upset, you know. It'd been quite a while since I was affectionate with someone. I had almost forgotten what that was like. Oh, but that's besides the point. So I went home that evening and got into bed as usual, expecting to hear the screams again. It got to around 2:30 and there was nothing. No screams, just complete silence. It's like she had been looking for peace for so long, and she finally heard it. It didn't last long though. After about 15 minutes, that's when I heard it.
Kevin?
Auri, I've really got to finish the story. Please, just give me a minute. So I was lying in bed, and I heard, "I'm here. Can you see me?" It sounded like static in a way, like someone trying to talk through a bad connection. I just thought it had gone into my head, and I was starting to hearing things, but then I felt some sort of force grab the end of my bed. I just lay there, not wanting to look down. I tried to pull the covers up off my head, but it was just snagged on something. I was completely powerless in that moment. I didn't know what to do. And then, after about 15 minutes, it stopped. But that wasn't the worst part. It's that I recognised that voice, and God, I really wish it was just any other voice.
Kevin, whose voice was it?
It was Alice's.
Evan, I know she's your sister, but it's insensitive to put her in your story when we're all still grieving, okay?
Trey,
What?
it's not... Kevin, did this really happen?
Auri, I did not know how to tell you guys. I wanted to reach out last week when it happened, but I just really didn't want to bother anybody.
It wouldn't have been a bother, Kevin. We're always here if you need to talk.
Yeah, I know we haven't spoken in a while, and but we're still your friends, and you can still talk to us about these things. And I'm really sorry.
Yeah, thank you guys.
I'm sorry, we're not actually entertaining this, are we?
Vincent,
No, like, I'm sorry, Kevin, but This is a joke, right? This is still part of your little story. This didn't happen.
Vincent, I'm begging you, do not be that much of a cunt right now.
Well, I think it's kind of pathetic that we play along with this little game. We are adults.
Well, what does that even mean?
Well, it's a bit weird to keep believing in fairy tales after a certain age, isn't it?
Well, we've been telling each other ghost stories for years now. Are you telling us that you've never believed any of it?
Well, like I said, I'm an adult now, so no.
Just because you don't believe in anything, that doesn't mean you have the right to act like a prick towards people who do.
Oh, come off it, guys. Kevin is not a child. He doesn't mind me saying this. He doesn't need you all defending him.
We're not defending him. We're calling you out for being a prick. Someone's got to do it.
Okay. So this is just an opportunity for you guys to gang up on me. Cool. Yeah, nice idea. Say what you need to say over a video call because you can't actually say it to my fucking face.
Well, we're not saying anything that you didn't bring on yourself.
Oh, Dasha, I don't know about you, but you're smart enough to know better.
Just because I don't personally believe in the supernatural, that doesn't mean that I don't support my friends when they say they've had a traumatic experience. I mean, right? Trey?
Not saying anything.
What?
It's not my argument.
For fuck's sake, don't be such a spineless fucking worm.
Whoa, that was so unnecessary, Dasha. Let the man fucking live.
Fuck off.
Oh, wow. So mature, Dasha.
No, honestly, Vincent, just fuck off and leave.
Why should I? I'm part of the group as well. I have as much right to be here as anybody else. I'm sorry, I'm the only adult here.
Well,
Look,
Well,
sorry,
How can you say
don't
that?
leave it.
How can you say that when your friend comes to you and tells you that they're upset and they're having a tough time, and you turn around and spit it back in your face? It's so fucking classic of you. You're disgusting.
Fuck off. Fuck off, fuck off, fuck off, fuck off. Twat. Yeah, just kick me out of the fucking call like a child. Pathetic. Right. How do I get back into this thing? Hello? Kyle? Are you home? Kyle! Come out, wherever you are. Fucking stupid. Oh. Hey, are you one of Kyle's friends?
wait, what was that?
Not sure. Must have been a bug of some kind. Looks all right now.
Is everyone back now?
Not everyone, apparently.
Well, if he wants to throw a tantrum, that's his choice.
But wouldn't it be weird for us to continue without him?
Why would it be?
Well, he's still part of the group.
Yeah, and he chose to leave. If he doesn't see himself as essential, then why should we think any differently?
I guess.
I just think at the end of the day, things got a bit heated and he didn't want to be involved anymore. So that's all we can say about it, really.
I still don't understand why I felt the need to act like that.
It's because he's a dickhead, Dasher. The sooner you all realise that, the better.
Yeah, okay. So we're all okay with continuing? Trey?
Yep.
You sure?
Why wouldn't I be?
Well, you did seem to be Vincent's only ally.
I'm no one's ally. I just didn't want to engage in arguments with my friends.
It's not arguing, you just have to call someone out when they're doing something inherently wrong.
Listen, I'm sorry, Kevin. I should have spoken up, and I didn't. I hope you're okay.
Trey, honestly, it's fine.
Now, who fills up for reading next? It's just Chloe and Julia left, right?
Yeah, that's right. I can go next, unless you want to, Jules.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
Okay, so, This is more of a fantasy type story.
As long as it doesn't have any 3-foot-tall curly-haired monsters like Vincent's story, it should be great.
I promise, no pomberos in my story. Okay, so this one is called Enchanted.
Oh no, is it a musical?
I could make it one if you test me, and trust me, no one wants to hear my singing.
In that case, I'll shut up.
Thanks. Okay, so our story begins with our protagonist, Sani. She is wandering through a completely dead forest. She's hundreds of years old, but appears to be our age. The reason why this is because she's a fae.
What's that?
So, it's a fairy.
Why didn't you say fairy?
Because this is my story, and I chose to use the word fae. Is that okay?
I guess.
Yeah.
So is she like a few inches tall?
No, she is the size of a person.
Fairies are small, aren't they?
Trey,
What?
just let Chloe tell her story. There's no need to be contrary.
Okay, geez, I was just wondering.
Thanks, Dasha. Fairies or fays can come in many sizes. Traditionally, in popular interpretations, come in smaller stature, but it's inaccurate to say that these are the only types of fairies. So Sani, wandering through a dead forest. Every piece of flora and fauna has been desecrated and burned. The forest is seemingly endless, and she's been wandering through it for almost 2 months, by her estimate. Her face, covered in scrapes and bruises, tells off a troubled journey, although one that she's been unwilling to share with anyone. She feels very close to giving up hope when she stumbles across the first sign of life she's seen in a while. An ancient oak tree, hundreds of meters tall, standing above her. She strokes the tree's damaged trunk, feeling a rhythm from deep within. It's weak and fading, but recognizable. It's the tree's heartbeat.
No, never mind.
Sani, feeling a deep connection to this tree, decides to stay with it, caring for it and nurturing it, trying to bring it to life once more. Weeks go by and nothing has happened. The tree seems even closer to death than it did before. Sani doesn't understand but persists. One night, she's asleep in the brush, close to the tree. She begins to hear movement, the sound of footsteps approaching. It's something she had almost forgotten the sound of. It's been a long time since she's heard other people. She peeks out over the brush and sees what's causing the sound. A legion of goblins surrounding the area, their foul stench filling the immediate area. And soon as she sees them, the memories come flooding back. These same goblins were the cause of her village, of the destruction of her village. And they're the reason why she is where she is now. She draws the conclusion that this destruction throughout the forest, every dead tree, every desecrated beast, was the work of these goblins. Meanwhile, the tree, somehow sensing the goblins' approach, begins to wilt. One by one, they take their turn slicing at the tree, its bark barely withstanding the onslaught. The almost ritualistic style of it confuses Sani, as she sits there watching, wishing there was something that she could do without getting herself killed. But alas, she just watches. After a few hours, the goblins grow bored and move on. Sani rushes to the tree's side, crying and apologizing. A futile effort, since the tree seems incapable of responding. She spends the next few weeks nursing the tree back to health, but nothing she does seems to help. She grows frustrated and angry at the tree for not getting better, almost as if it had a say in the matter. And then the goblins return, and they do their ritual again. Only this time, Sani decides to do something about it. Fueled by her frustration, she emerges from the brush and slaughters every goblin with her bare hands. She moves so quickly, they hardly noticed that she was there at all. She's never really been an angry or violent person, but in that one moment, she gave up all her pacifistic nature to exact revenge on the creatures who hurt her beloved tree. She saw herself as a sole guardian of the tree, the only one who could protect it. With the goblins dead, she continues to care for it. And again, weeks and weeks go by. No more goblins arrive, but the tree still doesn't get any better. Despite her advanced metabolism, Sani is beginning to grow fatally weak. After months of eating nothing, Sani feels so close to giving up, but something stops her. She begins to ask a different question. Instead of asking why the tree won't get better, she begins to ask herself why this tree has managed to survive so far, where every other tree has fallen. She examines the tree closer and makes a startling discovery. The very roots that hold the tree into the ground are coursing with poison. The tree's entire life has been suffering. Those goblins were merely a distraction. And even though Sani has lost so much, the tree has lost far more. Every brother and sister that stood with it was burnt to the ground and perished. And still it suffers more. With her last ounce of strength, she digs deep with her fingers and frees the tree from the rooted prison in which it was trapped. After hours of digging, the tree finally topples, or at least it would have if this was any ordinary tree. Instead, as soon as it's free, it begins to run. It sprints throughout the forest, growing in strength with every step it takes. And Sani, as she lays there, dying, is finally happy, because she dies with the knowledge that the tree she has grown to love over the last few weeks is finally able to thrive because of the care that she gave it. The end.
Okay.
Do you not like it?
No. It was very interesting. It's just, it wasn't really a horror story, was it?
Well, I did say in the beginning, before I started, that it was more of a fantasy story. I had a horror one I wrote, but I thought this was better.
Okay, but isn't the whole point of this group that we tell each other horror stories to scare each other?
Well, I guess things change, Trey. People change. I'm sorry.
You don't have to apologize. I thought it was beautiful.
Thanks, Sasha.
I really loved it, Chloe. I thought it was quite different to the other stuff we've heard so far.
Cheers, Kev.
So is it like a metaphor?
Yeah, kind of.
A metaphor for what?
Doesn't matter.
No, what was it a metaphor for?
I'd rather not say.
Auri,
What?
stop.
I'm not doing anything.
Well, I know what you're trying to infer, and I just wish that you wouldn't.
You wish I wouldn't? Shit, that sucks because I am.
Is anyone else a bit lost?
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you want to fill them in, Julia, or should I?
Well, there's now to fill them in on.
Auri, is there something wrong? Did I do something?
God, you always act so innocent, don't you, Chloe? It's getting a bit pathetic now.
Whoa, guys, what is this?
Despite making a promise, it seems that Julia has lied to me.
Lied to you about what?
Julia and Chloe have been seeing each other secretly. For a while now, I suspect.
What?
Well, Auri, I promised you that there is nothing going on between me and Chloe, and even if there was, it would be none of your business, and you need to understand that.
Don't fucking lie to me, Julia. It was so obvious. That story, Sani, the rescuer, freeing the tree that's trapped and suffering. You didn't even try and hide it that well, Chloe.
My story has nothing to do with Julia or anyone else in this group.
Julia, I can't believe I trusted you enough not to fucking lie to me.
But Auri, for the last time, I haven't lied. There's nothing going on between me and Chloe. Well, at least not now.
So something did happen.
That's irrelevant.
I can't believe you after everything I told you.
Well, there's no need to be like that because you're literally making a mountain out of a molehill.
Did you not listen when I had my concerns?
Well, I listened, and that's why there's nothing going on right now.
I can't...
You okay, Auri?
Yeah, sorry, there's a really weird smell.
Oh, don't encourage her. She does this all the time. She says, oh, what's that smell? And then, oh, it's bullshit. It's childish.
No, Julia, I'm being serious. There's a really weird smell in my room.
Ignore her, guys. It's all an act.
No, I'm being genuine. I'm being serious.
Oh my god, is she okay?
Well, don't be concerned about her or any of her stupid games. It's all a complete act.
Can someone at least check on her?
Fine. I'll call her.
I mean, that was a bit strange, wasn't it? It wasn't just me.
No, it's not just you. Auri was acting quite strange.
Maybe she realised she just can't function without Vincent here.
Trey, no one needs Vincent here. Least of all Auri. He's a dickhead.
It was a joke, Dasha.
So, Chloe,
Yeah?
is it true?
Is what true?
What Auri was talking about?
Dasha, I'm being honest. Nothing is happening between the two of us.
But something did happen.
Things happen. People move on. What happens in my life is far from anyone's concern.
Yeah, sorry. Didn't mean to pry.
It's okay. I'm gonna go and grab a drink. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course. Now that you mention it, Trey, it is quite strange.
What?
I mean, not one of us have actually told a ghost story tonight, apart from Kevin, but that's, sorry, Kevin.
Oh, no, yeah, it is strange. Maybe we're just bored of ghost stories.
Maybe.
I think it's a problem with the horror format in general.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, you've got your traditional ghost stories, right? Family moves into a house, strange things start happening, and then boom, you've got ghosts. Like, if you had released that sort of thing today, no one would care. You've got to have something different. Something that stops it from at least being just another ghost story.
Like what?
Well, take Unfriended. Like, it's a pretty dreadful film, but it attempts to do something different. Instead of a haunted house, it's a haunted Skype call. And that's the new setting in which you and the audience are trapped. And no matter how much you dislike the film, it made a hell of a lot of money.
You didn't like Unfriended?
Well, it's not like I didn't like it. I just thought that there was a lot that just didn't work. I think the deaths were poorly done. This didn't seem realistic. Like, it kind of took me out of the film. Like, the one guy with the blender, like, visually just kind of sucked. But I would have rather they didn't show that. But regardless of the success of the film, or regardless of whether or not you don't like it, the success of the film does show that audiences want something new to scare them.
But like, if audiences want something new, then explain something like The Conjuring.
Okay, fair enough. The Conjuring does seem like a traditional ghost story, and it did make a hell of a lot of money. But even then, it had a different element it used to sell itself, based on true events. Like, we all know it's bullshit, but it still sells tickets, because it can't really be based on a true story, can it?
I guess. Yeah.
So, how does this tie back into our conversation?
Well, all of us here probably have had that same subconscious feeling. They're expecting me to tell ghost stories, so I'm going to do something different, and then none of us end up telling a traditional ghost story. Wait, it's good to play around with the audience's expectations.
I get it. So if you tell someone you're going to tell a horror story and then it ends up being something else entirely, that's more effective.
Exactly. Like, I mean, a lot of these stories have surprised me, for better or for worse.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm going to go and check on dinner. Keep up the riveting conversation, though.
Yeah, sure thing. See you in a bit.
How you doing, Kev?
Oh, yeah, I'm all right. Thanks, Trey.
I'm really sorry about earlier with Vincent. I'm your friend, and it was my place to say something, and I chose not to.
Honestly, Trey, it's fine. There were more than enough people speaking up. If you joined in too, and that would have felt a bit like overkill.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Actually, I'm just gonna go speak to Sophie quickly. Hope you don't mind, Trey.
No, it's fine. I actually like being alone. I'm kidding. Go on. Okay. Shit. Don't come in! Okay, Dasha, you can come in now. Dasha!
Oh, did you get any response from Auri, Jules?
I texted her. She said she wasn't feeling up for the rest of the call. Shame.
Fuck's sake, what's wrong with her?
I think she's just emotional, like you know how she gets.
Yeah, maybe it's just Vincent getting to her.
Yeah. Well, you know, she puts up this act saying that she doesn't care what he thinks, but deep down, in reality, she does.
I mean, fair enough. He treated her like shit.
Well, I'm not denying it. I'm just saying, you know, I'm her friend, and it wouldn't kill her to remember that sometimes.
Oh, hey Kev, where'd you rush off to?
I just had to say goodnight to Sophie.
Oh, cute. I can't wait to meet her.
Yeah, she's really nice, and you'll get on well.
Hey. Where's Trey?
Nowadays, probably gone out for a smoke.
Are your parents okay with that?
I don't think he knows that we know. He's been trying to hide it for weeks, but it's insane that he doesn't realize. He stinks every time he comes in.
Aw, bless him. What about Auri? Is she okay?
Yeah, I messaged her saying she wasn't feeling up for the rest of the call.
Mm. It's kind of annoying that she wouldn't listen to us.
Well, you know, she's always been that way. She won't listen to anyone unless it doesn't fit her narrative, so...
Well, there's no point in being bitter about it. She's gone now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not bitter. It's just, I'm a friend and I kind of wish she'd get that.
I'm sure she does. She's just feeling like a little bit sensitive. It's been a very stressful evening.
Yeah, I guess. I'm sorry, guys, if I flew off the handle a little bit.
Oh, it's fine. Are you
Am I...
Oh, sorry. 1 minute. Fucking prick.
What's wrong?
I've told him so many times not to cook meat in the house.
Why?
Oh, my mum's just quite sensitive about meat being in her house. Don't ask me, it's her personal choice.
Well, knowing Trey's probably too high to realise what he's doing.
Fuck, that is so strong. I can smell it out here. My mum's probably already awake. Do you mind if I just go and check on him?
Yeah.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Well, and then there were 3.
What?
There's 3 of us left now.
Well, until Trey and Dasha come in the call, yes, sure.
Are they coming back though? Dasha did seem quite pissed off.
Yeah. They'll come back. They just love arguing with each other.
Yep. To the happy couple.
Cheers. So, Julia,
Sorry?
do you want to read your story?
Maybe we should wait for the other guys to come back. Christ, I didn't realise how late it was when that happened.
Well, we did decide to start at midnight.
Oh, don't blame me. It was the only time that Vincent was free.
Oh,
Yeah.
fucking time zones, man. Why is it now like 2 a.m. almost?
Almost 2:30.
Wow. Well, at least we only have one story to go.
I promise it's not a long story.
Thank God. Oh, no, they won't be good or anything. It's just, I'm just fucking knackered, you know.
No, it's fine. I get it.
Are you okay, Kevin?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, it's just always a bit weird about staying up this late, you know.
What's wrong?
I mean, it's nothing. It's just I'm still a bit scared about what happened before.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. If I'd have known, I would have rescheduled.
No, it's fine. I just need to readjust, you know.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, thank you, Jules.
It's got...
Yeah, it really helps having you guys around.
What was that?
Oh, fucking hell, that was Sophie.
Fucking hell, is he okay?
I don't know. I'll just call him to be sure. Give me 2 seconds.
Fuck. Dasha, if you get this, please call me back as soon as you can. I think something happened to Kevin. I don't know what happened, but I think it's something to do with his girlfriend. Please call me back, okay?
You okay?
Yeah. Just trying to reach out to Dasha.
Any luck?
No, nothing. What about Kevin? Is he okay?
He texted me. He said she just had a nightmare.
Okay. Thank God.
Yeah.
I don't think the others are coming back.
It appears that way, doesn't it?
Yeah. Should we just end it here?
I haven't had a chance to tell my story yet.
Juliet, there are more pressing matters at hand.
Like what?
Well, we don't know if Trey and Dash are okay.
Well, why wouldn't they be?
Well, I don't know. I'm just worried.
How about I just tell my story? And then we go from there? Is that okay?
Julia, are you okay?
I'm fine. I just really want to tell my story.
Okay. I'm just worried.
You don't need to be worried. I'm sure that all our friends are exactly as they're supposed to be. So, in regards to this story, I'll just say that it's based on a true story, as all the best horror stories often are.
Julia.
Please, just let me tell my story. So at the centre of our story is a girl. A lot of classic horror films tend to focus on the female protagonist, the one who endures and survives until the end, defeating the villain. Well, unfortunately, spoiler alert, the girl in my story doesn't make it to the end. This girl's name is Alice. Now, Alice didn't have a particularly easy life. She was constantly faced by hardships of all kinds. She was beautiful and strong and caring, but she was vulnerable. And this vulnerability would unfortunately be her downfall. Our story has 6 villains, and you'll get to know them if you don't already. The first villain in this story, let's call him V. V probably hurt Alice the most out of everyone. V, seeing that vulnerability beneath Alice's shell, decided to take advantage of her. For years, she had rejected his every advance for a number of reasons. For one, he was in a relationship with her best friend, who we'll call A. Secondly, Alice herself had a girlfriend, J, as we'll call her. And finally, Alice rejected V's advances for the only reason that should matter, because she wasn't interested in him. V, being the charmless freak that he was, decided that the only course of action was to show Alice what she was rejecting, whether she liked it or not. Alice, abused and broken, wandered the streets, making it back home in the small hours of the morning. Waiting outside her door when she got home was A, V's girlfriend. A, who had for months silently observed her boyfriend making advances towards Alice, decides to take out her frustration on our protagonist. She grabbed Alice by her hair and decides to smash her face into the concrete, shouting angrily and accusing of tempting her boyfriend into unfaithfulness. Alice became quieter following that evening, and her girlfriend Jay noticed. A few weeks passed, and Alice is approached by one of her closest friends, D. D suspects her boyfriend T of cheating on her. She asks Alice in good faith to get close to T and find out the truth. Alice, scared of upsetting any more of her friends, agrees. After talking to T and getting drunk with him one evening, T admits everything. On a camping trip, he slept with another girl. Multiple times. He shows no remorse. Instead, he actually seems kind of boastful about it. And then T, realising what he's admitted to, grabs Alice by the throat and threatens her. If you tell my girlfriend what happened, I'll hurt you. Worse than V hurt you, and don't think that I don't know about that. Now Alice is starting to realise that everybody she considered a friend is slowly betraying her. She feels as though she can't trust anybody anymore. D, T's girlfriend, approaches Alice a few days later, trying to pry some information from Alice. And Alice, remembering the threat that T had made towards her, doesn't reveal anything. And D doesn't take kindly to this and says the following to Alice. You're so pathetic. Now I know why Vincent was able to do what he did. Alice, realising her pain has become just another topic of conversation for her friends, retreats even further into her own little world away from them. She locks herself away in her room, worrying Jay. Alice, in her isolation, reaches out to her brother, Kay. Kay and Alice had always been quite close growing up, but there's always one thing that stood in their way of their relationship as siblings. Something Kay hadn't quite understood as a child. You see, Kay, being a few years younger than Alice, was oblivious to the abuse that she had suffered at the hands of her father. This is something Alice kept close to her chest, not telling anyone because of the connotations that she feared would come of it.
Juliet, you don't have to do this.
I'm not finished, Chloe. Kay knew that there was something that always haunted his sister, but he ignored it. Even as both of them grew into their teenage years and the abuse endured, Kay said nothing. He did nothing. So when it came down to it, Alice was unable to open up to her brother when she needed to. She felt as if she couldn't trust him. And maybe he was helpless in his younger years. Maybe there was nothing he could have done to stop the abuse. But it's the fact that he never even acknowledged it. After weeks of isolating herself, Alice wrote a note, a final message, and posted it through Jay's letterbox. The note explained everything that had happened in excruciating detail before offering a final goodbye to the only person who had never broken her fragile trust. Jay doesn't know where Alice went after that. All she knows is what happened a few weeks later. See, so far our story only has 5 villains. V, A, T, D, and K. They've all been disposed of, as you can see. That leaves just one more. C. Now C never hurt Alice, at least not to Alice's knowledge. Instead, C waited just mere weeks before attempting to make a move on Alice's grieving girlfriend, J. J, weak and delicate, was the perfect victim for C's uncaring attitude. C, no one would have expected it from C because she always seemed so helpless, so innocent. But no, she took advantage of someone who was grieving the loss of their loving partner.
Julia,
Do you have anything to say for yourself, C?
I'm sorry. I didn't realize.
I'm sorry too. But this is the only way. Okay, everybody, it's over now. Thank you for all agreeing to be a part of this. Number 1, you should be able to access Vincent's bank account. From there, you'll be able to send everybody their payments. I trust you all know how to dispose of everything properly, as you are all professionals. No traces, please. Thank you.